Dawn in ancient Rome doesn't come quietly. It cuts through the thick velvet drapes of Nero's golden house, the Domus Aurea, a sprawling architectural fever dream paved in jewels, lined with gold leaf, and drenched in decadence. But inside, no one watches the sunrise. Because Nero isn't waking to sunshine. He's waking to opium. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally, every single morning. Forget the image of a Roman emperor standing tall in armor, delivering rousing speeches to the Senate. That's the old republic. Nero's Rome is a hallucination, a fever dream with a crown. And it starts with a goblet of vinum opiatum, a thick herbal wine laced with crushed poppy latex. Smooth, sedative, euphoria in a chalice. The alcohol enhances the alkaloids. The alkaloids dull the mind. The emperor is awake, but barely. And that's exactly how he wants it. To understand Nero's day, you need to understand his medicine cabinet, or rather, his banquet table. The Roman world didn't draw sharp lines between medicine, magic, and indulgence. Everything blurred, like the vision of someone deep in an opium haze. By the 1st century AD, opium was as common in elite Roman circles as wine and gossip. Tracing its use from the Sumerians through Egyptian funerary rituals to Greek therapeutic concoctions, it eventually trickled into Roman daily life. But while physicians used it to treat insomnia, pain, and hysteria, emperors like Nero used it for something else, forgetting. He drinks not to relax, but to dissolve the edges of reality, to silence the ghosts of those he's executed, to float above the whispers of betrayal in the Senate halls. Opium numbs, belladonna distorts, mandrake sedates. Together, they build a chemical palace more fantastical than any marble column could ever be. By mid-morning, Nero isn't hungry for eggs or bread. He's dining on hallucinogens. Roasted figs dipped in mandrake syrup, spiced dates soaked in wine and laced with crushed belladonna berries, also known as deadly nightshade, a plant so toxic its dose must be guessed by feel. One drop too much, and death comes swiftly. One drop too little, and the hallucinations never take hold. But Nero dances on that edge. He's fed not just as a ruler, but as a deity. At his table are Syrian seers, Egyptian alchemists, and Persian perfumers, all whispering secrets of foreign elixirs. Their concoctions promise virility, vision, eternal youth, but they deliver something else: detachment, illusion, bliss. By noon, Nero isn't just emperor. He's Orpheus reborn, a god among shadows, a myth within a man. And now the performance begins. A stage is assembled, maybe inside the Domus Aurea, maybe outside in the gardens where mechanical birds sing and ivory ceilings rain saffron. Nero dons a silk robe. He cradles a lyre, his pupils wide as dinner plates. This isn't politics, this is divine theater. High on fumes from burning myrrh and frankincense, both psychoactive in heavy doses, Nero performs not for the people, but for the gods. He reenacts Greek tragedies. He weeps as Niobe. He screams as Orestes. He moans as Dido. His audience, terrified senators, they clap not out of admiration, but survival instinct. This too is a performance, a deadly one, because when a drugged emperor believes he's Orpheus, the wrong review might get your head split in two. The most infamous moment of Nero's life is also the most misunderstood. Rome burns, and Nero plays. According to ancient accounts, some likely exaggerated, others possibly true, Nero watched as flames engulfed the city, strumming a lyre and singing of Troy's fall. He allegedly compared the Great Fire to Homeric epics. To him, this was not disaster, it was art. Was he sober? Almost certainly not. Many historians suspect he was in an altered state. Opium? Probably. Aphrodisiac wine? Definitely. A mixture of henbane, myrrh, and Syrian rue? Possible. To a drug-fueled mind, fire wasn't destruction, it was spectacle. The perfect canvas for tragedy, poetry, reinvention. Rome turned to ash, and Nero saw it as the stage being cleared for Act 2. As the sun sets, Nero's palace fills again. This time it's darker, louder, stranger. Slaves light torches dipped in resin, music echoes off marble, perfumed smoke curls through the air, part incense, part narcotic. Now come the aphrodisiac brews, wine laced with saffron and nettle, Syrian potions thick with opium and cinnamon bark, the infamous love filters said to erase inhibitions and induce euphoria. Nero slips into silk. He joins orgiastic feasts that blend ritual, performance, and excess into something closer to pagan ceremony than mere pleasure. Mandrake root is crushed and spread on tongues. Laughter turns to shrieking, dancing turns to collapsing, faces blur in torchlight, and behind it all, Nero watches, not as a participant, but as a god surveying the world he made and might unmake. But the crash always comes. In the black hours of the night, when even the servants are silent and the torches die, Nero is alone, high as a mountain, but filled with dread. Because opium doesn't erase the guilt, it delays it. Belladonna doesn't kill the paranoia, it gives it faces. He sees Agrippina in the shadows, his murdered mother. He hears whispers in the halls, Brutus, Cassius, Caligula, all murmuring from the grave. He orders new purges, new executions, new arrests. He sleeps lightly, if at all. And when he wakes, before the birds, before the slaves, he drinks again. The cycle continues. Poppy, power, paranoia. History often calls Nero a monster, but maybe he was something else. A man completely consumed by the chemical empire he built around himself. He wasn't just addicted to substances, he was addicted to forgetting. Forgetting the weight of the crown, the blood on his hands, the fires, the songs, the betrayals. Nero's Rome wasn't a place, it was a hallucination, a delusion reinforced by herbs, by incense, by applause he forced from trembling hands. When Rome finally turned on him, he fled not as a warlord, but as a fading ghost. And in his final moments, surrounded by a handful of loyalists, he uttered, "Qualis artifex pereo." What an artist dies in me. Not emperor, not tyrant, not even man. Just a performer, still high, still haunted, still hoping the next sip might make it all go away.